Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football, presented by PJ's Coffee, coming to you from right outside the Superdome after the Saints dropped their seventh game of the season to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got to see Tyler Shough go in the game. Huge show for you guys today. We're going to break all that down. If you're looking for a new car, make sure you get it from my guy, Matt Bowers. He's got locations all over, best prices at all of them. Tell them we sent you. They'll get you hooked up and they'll get you right in the car of your dreams or the car you need. Whatever you got to do, make sure you get it from Matt. And if you want to celebrate your fandom beyond the field, Keesler Federal is proud to be the official credit union sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. They're a not-for-profit organization, meaning their members always come first. That means they're working for you as much as they're working for themselves. You can enjoy lower fees, better rates, and everything else Saints fans need to help you get one step closer to living your dreams. And of course, we're coming to you from the Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. All right. First topic today, presented by the Mortgage Bros. That's mortgagebros.money. Tell them NOF sent you. They'll give you $500 back on your closing cost. They are the guys that you want to get with for all of your mortgage needs. Now, it feels like the Saints are at a little bit of a crossroads, and I think it's really interesting, and we're going to break it all down with Tripp on today's show. But I think that the Saints are at a little bit of a crossroads right now, and making this move to the quarterback, it kind of kills a little bit of hope, like in a weird way. Now, Shough, when he drafted, he represents his own package of hope, but he was the security hope package. And now that Spencer Rattler and that story, not necessarily dumb, but it's tarnished. They took him out of a game, which takes away the storybook. Like, this isn't scrappy underdog against all odds, beats out everyone clean, proves everyone wrong, gets the coaching staff to buy into him, leads the Saints to the promised land. One short QB comes after the other short QB. You got the Disney movie. Oh, wait, it's not Rocky, it's Creed, but it's the same thing. Like, that isn't going to happen here. It looks like this is going to be heading probably towards Shough. I'd kind of be a little bit surprised if we don't see it soon. You make that move with intent, and they made that move with intent. And it takes away, again, a little bit of hope. And I think now that you move to this, like, the expectations rise on the coaching staff too. Like, it's now their guy. They weren't ever really going to be judged off the failures or the lack of success of Spencer Rattler, but I think that they were going to be judged off those successes. It was kind of like a buy. Like, now you're going to your guy. If your guy doesn't hit, pressure's really on you. Now, next year you got to find your guy. If you don't have your guy, all of a sudden, like, you're into this, like, spiral. Hopefully it doesn't get there. Hopefully it's Shough or it's the next guy. Like, it doesn't mean it's all going bad, and I don't think you jump to conclusions after 8 games, but it is a very real thing, and a very real door just opened up right now. And we're going to see where it goes from here. Look, this one was ugly, it was hideous, and maybe the takes are a little bit more down than they will be in a level-headed morning, but it just felt bad, and it felt nasty, and kind of making the move. I don't know. We all knew it was going to come, but then you see it, and all of a sudden it's just like, and you're in the middle of this thing, and now it's here, and we're going to see maybe what it is this week. I don't really know where they're at. I feel like I would be surprised if they didn't go to Spencer, or if they didn't go to Tyler Shough right now. Feels like you open that door with intent, and you're going there, and you do have to find out. And Kellen Moore said he doesn't like the flip-flop. So we're going to bring in Tripp now and see what he thinks about this on our next topic, which is presented by Shaw Bear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. If you're hitting them up, make sure you are hitting up the Earhart Agency. Mike, what do you think it means now that Tyler Shough got in there?
Yeah, I mean, this happened so much faster than we thought. I mean, my sneak preview to the lead to my story is, boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago that Sunday morning shows had Rex Ryan talking about how great Spencer Rattler's doing. And I started doing the math like, well, I mean, if you're going to see Shough this year, is it only going to be in December? I had no idea that we were 6 quarters away. Now, it was 6 quarters in which Spencer Rattler turned the ball over in all 6 of those quarters, 6 straight quarters with turnovers. I mean, he did what he couldn't do. But obviously the circumstances are somewhat not unfair to Spencer Rattler, but we knew this. He was facing the 40th pick in the draft on his own team. And I think Tankathon has a lot to do with this. As of today, they have the number 1 pick in next year's draft. So they got to get on with it. They got to evaluate quarterbacks. This is not a team that could afford to just keep beating their head against the wall, not winning games. The offense as a whole, not completely Spencer Rattler's fault, certainly not today. with some of the turnovers and penalties completely. But the offense as a whole has regressed this year. They scored 3 points today. We felt kind of good about how competitive they were being early in the season. They were not anywhere close to competitive on the offensive side of the ball against the Bears or Buccaneers. So I thought it might take a month of looking like this and not just 6 quarters. But Spencer Rattler was flying without a parachute. He was not allowed to let the door open like this, which is unfortunate. It's funny that Teddy Bridgewater was in the building today because we've said this a lot about Spencer. If he could transplant himself onto the 2019 Saints, he could have probably started 5 games for that team and be celebrated as a hero. But he is in a vastly different circumstance this year.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I was kind of looking at it, and it felt like I didn't know if we were going to see the door open. It felt like he was playing such clean football after that Patriots game, and it felt like I think I said on the show, like, he's not capable of a meltdown, and then it like just kind of went into meltdown mode. Meltdown's probably a strong word, but like it just there's too many turnovers, too many mistakes, too many steps away from looking clean, and that's always kind of been the problem. And look, the thing, I don't know if Shough's going to be an answer. I'm betting against everything to do with this team right now until there's reason to buy in. 40th picks, we've said it a million times when they drafted him, probably isn't going to work out. He'd be an outlier if it did. That's nothing to do with Tyler Shough. It's just the math. And there's reasons to, like we said when they drafted him, there's reasons to like him, and there's reasons to bet on him, and there's reasons not to. And we're going to find all that out. But I think today is exactly what we saw in camp too. Air goes into the balloon, the window opens up. Like it felt tight and just condensed with Spencer, and just kind of every push just felt like you felt the effort behind it. This it felt like a little air went in the balloon. The thing is when you put air in the balloon, yeah, it gets more air in it, but it can also pop. Like, so we're going to see which way it's going to go. Does it float or does it pop? I think it could go either way, and I think that's Tyler Shough. I think your possibility for complete disaster increases, but I also think your possibility for getting a 30-yard gain increases tremendously. And you kind of saw him come in, and he's just a more aggressive guy. He plays the game that way, and you kind of got to ride the rails a little bit. And I think we saw some of the good and some of the bad in this game. I don't think we saw the extremes on either one. Yeah. I'm sure we will. I'm sure he's going to make if you're in if you've chosen a party, like it's politics, and you're in the Rattler camp, I guarantee you aren't gonna have to wait long to see something that gives you ammunition for your agenda.
Either way.
Either way.
Or you're saying for the Rattler agenda. Yeah, you're going to see the agenda.
Because his mistakes are going to be loud, and they're going to be obvious, and they're going to look goofy probably. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. We're going to see though. You have to find out. You got to find out. Do you think it happens this week?
Well, first of all, I don't think Shough will always play this way automatically. I mean, some of that was, you're putting me in a game down 17-3 with 20 minutes to go. I get to unleash it, but this is his natural tendency for sure. Yeah,
we saw it in camp. We saw it in camp. Yeah, we saw it in camp though. Like just the throwing down the field. Like if you're looking at a 3-level concept, like, and they both get it, he's more apt to try to squeeze the ball in on the corner on it. The deep corner route, and Rattler's probably going to hit the out or the flat. Like the corner's probably not even going to be an option for him. Like they just kind of approach it differently. I think Shough's just he's just a more aggressive guy, and it doesn't mean it's better. Like again, he could go up in flames because of that, but I think that's just who he is. And I think Rattler's kind of, whether through circumstance or just experience or just how his story's unfolded, I think he plays tries to play a safer, cleaner brand of football that's a little bit more risk adverse, and I think Tyler plays with more risk tolerance.
And look, it's just, I mean, if we're gonna put a sort of a obituary on Spencer Rattler's time in the job this season, I think what we saw is when he plays that flawless football, first 6 games, only one, not flawless, but mistake-free football. The first 6 games, we saw only one turnover by him, and they were losing a lot of games 26-20. It just wasn't enough. It was competitive, but it wasn't enough. But when the turnovers came, we saw the Chicago game, we saw the Tampa Bay game. So it was like it had to be perfect to still just be within a touchdown. Like this team needs more than that. Like it kind of needs the high risk, high reward style to have any chance on offense, because they can't play safe and conservative and win games. I mean, they're 1-7. That's half the season. It's crazy how quickly it got to that point. Do I think we're going to see the switch next week? Yes, obviously. I mean, it's funny. Kellen Moore was saying he hasn't made up his mind yet, but he doesn't want to do the back and forth thing. That's not what he's about. I mean, going with Rattler would be the back and forth thing. You'd be going back to Rattler, and everybody would be thinking it. If he has one bad quarter, they're going to go back to Shough again. If he has one bad half, they're going to go back to Shough again. That would feel back and forth. Shough would be like, no, this is what we're doing for the second half of the season. So if there's any tell to that, I would say, though, I did have in the back of my mind, I was like, during the game while you guys were talking on the live stream and saying, I think this is permanent. This is probably permanent. I kind of was like, well, if the odds are 5-1, they go back to Rattler next week, or 6-1, I might want to buy that ticket, because I could already hear it. That Moore is going to say after this game, we just needed a spark. I just wanted to see if we created a spark. We only had 3 points through the first 35 minutes of this game. I wanted to see if we could create a spark. And next week is at the Rams. I think that's the last place you would pick to put a rookie in his first career start. Does he rethink it when he's not in the middle of a game? But I feel like I don't think you can put your balloon analogy. You can't untie the balloon and start it over now that you've done this.
I would kind of look at him kind of crazy if he did.
Yeah.
Because he knows what it means. He knows what it means to take him out. And then now you're just creating mess for no reason where you didn't have to. You could have just rode this out and lost the same way either way. And, Shough went in the game and he wasn't a disaster. So I think that kind of sets the stage for it. All right. Continuing this conversation presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. What do you think this means for Moore? And let me frame this in the sense that, it just feels like this kind of feels like it happened from a bad place instead of a good place. And I guess it was always probably going to happen from a bad place, because coming to it would feel like the end of the road. But it feels like a move out of like a desperation than maybe a preconceived best laid plan of action. Like if it wasn't the right decision to start Shough for the first 8 games, like why was it the right decision to put him in midway through the third quarter? Like it just feels like you were doing this out of trying to create a spark instead of like, hey, here's everything to get the fire started. Like you're just kind of hoping the fire starts instead of knowing that you have everything to make it happen.
Yeah, look, Kellen Moore said this decision isn't about we drafted him 40th and we have to evaluate him. He said we're going to make the decision based on what's best for this team going into LA. But I'm going to give him more credit than that. He knows the reality of this situation. This season ended a few weeks ago. Like playoff hopes ended. Any kind of random, like, what if we're the Carolina Panthers and we're 4-3 and nobody expected it? Like that dream is gone. Now, like I said, like as of today, they have the number 1 pick in next year's draft. Like, if you think at all long term, I've been saying this a million times, it's unfair to Spencer Rattler, but you're like, for a fact you are going to spend January and February and March and April trying to decide if you're going to draft Mendoza or Ty Simpson or Lenora Sellers or whoever Nick happens to be scouting this week for NOF. You're going to be making that decision. If you have the number 1 or number 2 pick, you're probably going to talk yourself into a quarterback. Like you only get so many bites at that apple. If you have not given a real look at Tyler Shough, that's just a disservice. It's a disservice to your team, to your organization, to your coaching career. Like you need to find out about this guy. So I think me and you started to think it was going to happen later in the season, but at least me personally, I always thought that as long as this is their record and their reality, I kept thinking it was going to be the bye week, maybe Carolina before the bye week.
I'm talking more about
it was in his head. I bet it was in his head.
I'm talking about more like how it got here, though. Like this is,
but that's what I'm saying. I think he was always knowing, I'm going to do this soon. I'm going to do this eventually. So I think it's easier to do it in the third quarter of a game when you only have 3 points, because you knew, well, if I don't do it now, I'm going to do it a week and a half from now anyway. That's the best thing. That build up.
That's the best thing for the quarterback, though. Like he doesn't practice with the people the whole week. Like
fair.
you did this because you felt weak in what you were doing. It wasn't about Tyler Shough. It was about we needed a spark. Like, yeah, you might be planning on doing it, but this and look, it was fine. Like they got through it fine, but it does feel like this is the first time I've looked at this, like the whole thing, and just been like, this is not what he wanted to do. And this is not going as swimmingly as he thinks it is. He thinks it's going bad, and he just did something that wasn't in maybe like this is the best thing for developing this quarterback. Like throwing him in the middle of a game isn't the best use of it. Like the best use of it, like he felt like he needed to do something because it was going sideways. I just find that very, very interesting. And like maybe that's the reality of how it was always going to happen, and maybe it doesn't matter. But it is something that I think is a piece of this, where this was an admission that it was like, this is not working at all. And like, I think we kind of felt that frustration starting to show a little bit over a course of time, even after the New England game where everybody was singing his praises. He was saying basically like, hey, this isn't good enough. Last week it was, we can't get a first down on third down because like for whatever reason, the opportunities aren't there. So we're using trick plays. And we've kind of seen little things in the actions, and then the words started matching them. And then it just felt like today he was just like, all right, enough is enough. I don't even necessarily blame him for how he did it. I just find it interesting that it was just kind of like not, hey, we're going to roll this out and try to set this up in the perfect picture for Tyler Shough, which leads me to believe that like, yeah, maybe, the Rams aren't the best place to do it. Like it's whatever. And like, I think they're just going to do it and maybe ride with the results.
Yeah. I don't think that, look, if I'm Tyler Shough's agent, if I'm Tyler Shough's parents, if I'm writing Tyler Shough's resume and I'm trying to prove something to someone, maybe I don't want to be thrown into the third quarter against Tampa Bay, and I don't want my first start to be at the Rams and that defensive front they have. But if he's going to get the full 10 weeks, ultimately that probably won't matter. If he doesn't have, you've got 1 month to prove this. We're going to reassess at the bye. We might go back to Spencer. If he's getting the rest of the season, then ultimately that might not matter. I mean, we've already forgotten about how horrible Jackson Dart looked in his first career road start here at the Saints, because he came back and had a great game the next week. So I guess he could probably survive being thrown into the deep end of the pool. Like everything he did today was completely like forgivable. It's like, yeah, try whatever you want. You're not going to be judged for it, I guess. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if it didn't set him up for instant success, but if you're really going to give him the last 10 weeks of the season, I wonder if his mind, I guess this is what I was saying in my last question, is once his mind started to go to, I'm going to go to Tyler Shough soon, I think it might have opened the door to, well, I might as well just go to him now. Like, I think this proved to us how he was closer to making that switch and had started to envision making that switch maybe. But, maybe he goes back to Rattler next week, and this was absolutely something he just did in the heat of the moment. And then we would have that discussion about how that would not, that would seem like it was based off emotion instead of calculation, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, maybe not, but as far as like the opponent, you wouldn't lay it out that, but like I want to see him play against the Rams. Like, you don't like when you're looking at like the college QBs, like you aren't scouting them against Indiana State. Like you're scouting them against like the real schools. Like, okay, great, you go out there and you beat the Dolphins and the Jets and the Titans, but like I'm looking at you against the Rams. I want to know what you can do there. I'm looking at you against the Bucs. Like, I'm going to judge the Falcons game more valuably than I would the Jets game. Like, I want to see what he can do. And if you suck in those games, it just is what it is. Like, this is your opportunity to figure it out, and let's see how it goes. Maybe starting a game on the road might. There's some people that believe that's kind of the right way to do it with these young quarterbacks, to take some pressure off. It changes the atmosphere up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of found the whole thing fascinating, because this is exactly the opposite of how I figured. I thought there was going to be like a very well laid out plan, and maybe this is part of it, and I'm just not seeing it. But I thought it was going to be like this very like deliberate process to getting him into their And I kind of, but I guess however it happens, it happens. And I don't know. He didn't fail the test. He failed the test that a lot of people probably would fail. He didn't fail the test today. And I think that really means something.
What's really interesting about how the timing ended up working out, and I am not at all suggesting that Kellen Moore was influenced by the fans, but the last series for Spencer Rattler, as it turned out, the entire place was booing the offense. Not just Rattler, but it was a holding penalty. It was Rattler missing by 5 yards on a deep pass, boos after both of those. It was a false start, boos after that. Then it was 3rd and 17, Rattler missing on a deep pass, boos after that. It was like everybody saw it at the same time, like this isn't working. It was really interesting that was the moment. There was just a moment of recognition that like we're not trending positive right now. We are going in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by like the overall messiness of everything today. It just kind of felt like it regressed a little bit overall.
Very much. Very much.
So I don't know. We'll see where it kind of goes from here. We're gonna hit a quick break and we'll be right back with the hard-hide player of the game. Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center is proud to team up with the NFL and the New Orleans Saints Crucial Catch mission to tackle cancer and save lives. Together, they're helping more people access the tools needed to detect cancer early and promoting prevention and early detection. Learn more at ochsner.org/endcancer.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
I used a home equity loan from Keystone Federal to fix up the garage. Because living your dream means living your way. And the kids take off field.
Not even game day.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. I don't play favorites with our sponsors on the show, but one of my favorites for sure is RV Masters. You guys have been watching our show lately and you've seen our awesome new van. That thing is decked out. And the best part about it is I took it up to RV Masters and I was like, this is what I want to do, but I had no idea how I wanted to do it or how to get it done. And they took care of it from start to finish, brought me out for updates, were giving me new ideas, and they made it exceed my wildest dreams. And they will do the same thing for you. RV Masters offers full service RV, motorhome, and travel trailer repair. They have preventative maintenance and service packages for your RVs, your AC, your generators. They specialize in solar and lithium upgrades, satellite TV, and Starlink. They'll take care of you if you get into a collision. Whatever you need, they got you. And I can speak from experience because they definitely had us on our new van. I cannot vouch for anyone more than I vouch for RV Masters. RV-Masters.com. Go check them out.
I believe it, I can see it. If it's in my sights, I achieve it. Ain't no leaving, no defeating. Show up, complete and repeat it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Get game ready. Play game ready scratch-offs and fast play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Yeah, they want me to quit, I can't stop it. I'm out of this world, I'm like a rocket. And you can never be us. We not afraid of the pressure, cause we good in the clutch. Yeah.
Get game ready. Play game ready scratch-offs and fast play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency, is a longtime partner on this podcast, but the truth is, I was advertising them to my friends and everybody I knew long before they ever jumped on this show. And I'm going to tell you why. Every 6 months, my car insurance policy comes up, and every 6 months, I get a call from somebody from there telling me I need to change it or stay where I'm at. They're shopping my policy constantly to make sure I am getting the best possible deal. That means money in the bank. And those are the type of people you love, because look, we all live here. We all know how it is. The insurance rates are out of control. You need somebody watching your back, and they actually really do it. And I was with them before they ever asked me to be with them. So they are people that you need to be doing business with. And if you are going to look up their insurance, make sure you are looking for the Earhart Agency. Those are our guys. There's a lot of Shough insurances. The Earhart Agency is the one you want. I can speak for them. Real life, real support, real good business, real money saved. Call them up today. Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hardhide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86 proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. It is now time for the Hardhide Player of the Game. Our Hardhide Player of the Game today is the guy that stood out, I think, more than anybody, which is the point of doing the Player of the Game. But Chase Young, he was in on 2 sacks, was around the ball, was getting pressure, was making plays. He looks like a force out there right now, and he's just kind of timing everything perfectly. His get off looks crazy. This is the player that the Saints were hoping they were getting when they signed him to an extension. Obviously had the injury to start the season, got behind the 8 ball a little bit there, but he's out from behind that, and he has looked really, really good every single week since coming back, and he's finishing plays, which I think has been the big criticism of him since he got here last year. That doesn't look to be a problem right now, and he is doing everything he can to fill up the stat sheet. So shout out to him for playing like that. And it's a huge benefit. The Saints need building blocks on defense. I don't know if I want to get too far ahead of myself yet, but he looks like somebody, if he should continue to keep playing the way he is, he could be one of those guys for this team. He's still a young player. Like, it's kind of easy to forget that because it feels like he's been in the league for quite a while, but he's still only 26 years old. If he's playing like this and he's collecting them sacks and he's making plays, man, they could have a guy on that side of the ball. And like I said, they badly need guys on that side of the ball. So off to a good start, 3 games in, see if he can keep it going, but he's showing up where he needs to show up right now. It's now time for 3 Up, 3 Down. All right, it's now time for 3 Up, 3 Down, presented by Aaron Rose. Chase Young was the player of the game, which brings us to the 3 guys that are up. Who you got up first?
Yeah, I went with Tyler Shough. I thought he came in and, he didn't crash out first and foremost, right? I mean, that was like, when the first few throws that he threw, I was thinking like, man, just don't be an interception, kind of settle in. And, just he kept making throws, they were playing from behind. So he wasn't able to, you got a lot of reps of him, throwing the football against a real football team. And so I thought he did well. He made completions. He was accurate for the most part, missed a couple of throws. You would like to see some better location. But, I thought he came in and gave us, if he didn't take over the starting role, he gave them something to think about. And so I think, that's a good outcome for him.
Yeah, I agree with all that. For me, I think my first up on this list is Luke Fortner, the center, played in place of Eric McCoy. Just felt like he kind of had a quiet game, wasn't too loud, seemed like things still looked organized. The offensive line wasn't a total disaster. I do have some issues with how they, as a whole, seem to have this weird inability to really pick up blitzes. Like, there aren't a lot of answers to it, and it kind of seems harder than it should be, but I don't think that's a Fortner thing. Previously, when Eric McCoy left, the offensive line went to shambles. Didn't go to shambles today against a difficult front, so he's my first up.
Yeah. He was someone that definitely his play definitely stood out. He was in my up list. Someone else who I also got in the up. I put Brandon Staley in the up. I thought that. Listen, I don't think it was a dominant defensive game in no way, shape, or form. There's things that we can pick apart, but I feel like the offense felt like they did most of the losing this game, not the defense. And you feel like, the defense, they made some plays, right? They had some turnovers, and you feel like the pressure was a little bit higher this game also. So, yeah, I just thought that this game that, that side of the football was it was an asset in a lot of ways. And that's not something that, we've seen a lot this year. So, yeah, I got the defense in my up in this game. And so it's good for them too, right? You want to see more of that because, I think this team needs that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we kind of bet on his ass a little bit about some of the stuff. And good game, tip the hat to him, put him on the list. I'm not against it. And just kind of in a similar vein of that, I'm just going to throw two guys in here that I thought looked pretty good against the run. And then even, the pass rush for one of them. I thought Demario Davis and Nathan Shepard both kind of really looked good on some of those red zone stands and run defense, especially Demario Davis was a missile on one of them, keeping a guy out of there. And then Nate Shepard, I think he had a sack today too. Like he had some plays today that, I thought he popped. So thought he played a good game. And I thought those two guys were kind of at the forefront of it. You got anyone else on your list?
Yeah. I put Kool-Aid on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him. I just felt like he was on the right side of some plays this game. And so again, I've been on Kool-Aid, and I just when he plays the game and he shows up, then I want to give him props. So yeah, I thought he made some plays this game. He's in the up.
No doubt about it. Definitely on that up list. Going over to the other side, the downside. I mean, I think if you lose your spot, you probably didn't have a good game. Spencer Rattler. I mean, it's kind of interesting because I don't feel like this is the worst game he's played this season, but it was just kind of the door opened and the other guy got in there, and that's where it's at right now. So I think just starting with that, putting him on the down. Hate to feel like I'm piling on somebody on a day that's probably bad for them, but I mean it's just keeping it real. You lose a spot. That's just kind of the way the conversation goes.
Yeah. He's definitely someone that be on my down list. The next guy I put on there is Trevor Penning. I said that Kool-Aid was on the right side of a lot of plays, and Penning was the exact opposite this game. I mean, just play after play, just block after block in crucial moments. Is at some point, and this is not my thought. I'm probably I'm not saying anything by saying I heard this from you first, but as you got to think about if this guy. Longevity, what's the plan here, right? I mean, at some point he has to start looking like an NFL player. And, at times you just feel like he's not an NFL starter and he's getting all these opportunities. This is his third position. So not to pile on him. I feel like we've been piling on him and I feel like we're going to continue to be piling on him. But, this is a game of competition. And so if he's not getting it done, then, we're going to have to just continue to look at that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to do the coach thing, I mean, I'm throwing the offensive staff on their ball protection. Why is that an issue now? And it seems to be an ongoing issue. Where's the detail on that? I didn't feel that was good. You only scored 3 points. That's a horrible look. I feel like this was definitely the roughest moment for Kellen Moore and his staff on that side of the ball. Just didn't feel. I mean, it felt helpless today, and that's a bad place to exist. Not good. Not a good day at all.
Yeah. It felt like the entire operation kind of collapsed today in a lot of ways. So, they and he kind of said, I got to find a way, right? He said, I do. So it seems like he took a little bit of the blame there, which obviously she should. But definitely someone. The other guy I got on the list is Shough. Just not ball security, not catching the football. It's just, it's bad timing, right? There's some thoughts that maybe he wants to be gone. And, this is an opportunity to do that, right? And so making these plays are, I think it benefits everybody. It benefits the Saints and it benefits him. And even if he wants to stay and they want him to stay, great. They need better play from the wide receiver position. So I just think that, the Saints lose and Shough loses when stuff like this happens. And so he just got to be better, really. I mean, that's just not what you want to see from a guy that you may potentially want to trade for.
Yeah, and I'm just going to wrap it up with two guys that dropped passes today and have dropped probably too many this season, Juwan and Chris. Again, Chris wants those opportunities felt like he allowed a pass to get picked off that he could have prevented a pick on at the very least. That's not a good moment for him. And then Juwan Johnson dropped one too. And I mean, that's just kind of been an ongoing thing throughout the season. Those are the guys that are kind of counted on to carry the offense, and they got to make life a little bit easier for these quarterbacks. So that was kind of disappointing to see that trend continue. Chris just had a great game last week, comes back this week, and you know, kind of some of that stuff popping up again. So you know, maybe the timing and everything gets better with a week of practice if Shough is the starter. But I mean, these are just plays that got to get made. All right, that's going to do it for 3 Up, 3 Down. He's Kevin Washington. Catch him on the Members Only podcast and on our in-game streams every week on NewOrleans.Football. Big news from the home team. Introducing our newest sponsor, the Mortgage Brothers. With over 30 years of combined experience, the Mortgage Brothers are the quarterbacks of home lending, calling the right plays to get you across the goal line. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned vet, they'll coach you through every down and make sure you feel like part of the team. They're backed by Cross Country Mortgage, the #1 retail lender in the nation, so there's no loan playbook they can't run. FHA, VA, conventional, RD, and more. They're lifelong season ticket holders, local guys who know the field and your market, and their online application takes less than 10 minutes. Why fumble your mortgage with some online lender who's never even watched your team play? Stick with the Mortgage Brothers, the trusted pros who play to win. Mention NOF and get $500 back in lender credit toward your closing costs. That's money back in your pocket when it counts. Visit mortgagebros.money and start shopping with confidence. Because with Mortgage Brothers, it's always no flags, no fumbles, just smooth closings every single time.
Score big with kickoff combos at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Don't pass on your choice of our seafood combos or our slider specials. Served with a side of garlic herb fries. Run in now for specials starting at $9.99 at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
You ever take a bite of something and immediately think, yeah, I'm coming back for this? Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just added some new dishes, and man, they crushed it. The shrimp and crawfish pistolettes, golden and stuffed with bold Cajun flavor. Fried oyster tacos, crispy, fresh with the perfect kick. And the soft shell crab Alfredo, creamy, rich, and absolutely worth the order. They're open 7 days a week, and they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trusted team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. It is now time for the question of the day presented by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you need help, make sure you get Gordon. And the question today is, does the switch at quarterback, should it hold, change your approach at the trade deadline? And I think this is a great question. And I would say no, but I think the benefit that you have now is that you get 2 games of evaluation if you're going to Tyler Shough to see what he can do. I believe the trade deadline is on the 4th, which means you get the Rams and then you get the Panthers game, and then the trade deadline's that Tuesday. So you get a chance to kind of see what you have and know. And if, look, you feel like there's fatal flaws or whatever, maybe that changes your approach at the deadline and you lean into it a little bit more, knowing that you might be making a switch at quarterback in the draft, or you want to load up to have the ammo if you need to make a switch at quarterback in the draft. Or maybe you know and you kind of want to chase it more. I don't think that's in their DNA to actually do that approach, but you have some information then that you can act on. So my approach at the trade deadline could change potentially based on what we see at quarterback. But I don't think it's changed as of today. I think I'm still in wait and see mode. I think I probably just trade a piece, maybe two. I don't think I go full on fire sale. I think that's a stupid approach because everything you get rid of, you got to try to replace. So I think you go at it strategically still. But yeah, I mean, if you get different information, that can change what you're trying to do. So that's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.